Breaking just moments ago, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the actor best known for starring in the TV sitcom The Cosby Show, has reportedly died.
You had difficult demands.
I want to address it for the order that it went in. And when Mr. Daniels said I had these demands, it shocked me because I was saying to the screen, Don, please ask them what the demands were. And they said, oh, we would never pay for anyone to do any promotions for a movie. And we said we understood, because what people didn't know was I was paid $50,000 to do the movie Precious. And it really wasn't about the money, and I'm not complaining because I signed up to do it with my friend. And actually, there were no demands. There was a request from the movie studio, and they called and requested. I simply said I respectfully declined. Because if you can remember at the time, there was a talk show called The MoNique Show. I was doing a comedy tour. I was actually in the award season of the awards that I fly to France for the Cannes Film Festival. And I'm also a wife, and I'm a mommy. So when they called, I had a couple days just downtime. I wanted to spend that with my husband and my kids. So when we said we respectfully declined, the movie studio called back again. And they said, okay, well, we'll upgrade her hotel room. Well, when the third call came, and they said, what is it going to take to get MoNique to France, to the Cannes Film Festival? And my husband simply said, again, we respectfully decline. She's going to take this time with her family.
Yeah.
And my husband said, is there a number associated with it? And pay you to do this? We didn't have an issue with them.
Okay.
But that's when the reports came that now MoNique is being demanding and she's being difficult.
Yeah. But
So
you're saying that because you didn't have the money to do this on your own. Is that what you're saying? That you needed to feed your family and pay your bills?
I think that's what America says.
Yeah.
I think we all say, I can't do it for free.
Right.
So when the movie studio says we can't set a precedent, they had a request, we simply had a request, and they said they couldn't do it, and we said we understood. That was it. So Tyler Perry says to me, listen, you may really want to consider promoting this film. Because if you get nominated for an Oscar award, I said, Tyler, who you talking to? I'm a black woman. Where do they pay those type of salaries, brother? I said, what I cannot do, Tyler, is work for free. Your next film is $3 to $5 million. And if you win it, your next film is $6 to $8 million. I've done what I was supposed to do. I cannot go overseas and do this for free, Tyler. So then he goes on about his spiel, you know. I said, well, listen, you can write me the check for me to go overseas. I don't care where the money comes from, but I'm not going to do it for free. He says, well, I don't believe in giving money away for free. I said, I don't believe in working for free, so we're on the same page.
Now, TMZ is now reporting that Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death, which was initially called accidental drowning, was due to a high current in the ocean while on a family vacation. Initially, TMZ simply reported that they had an unconfirmed but reliable source saying that he simply died of accidental drowning, no other detail. Right off the bat, the internet seemed very perplexed about how does an accidental drowning occur. I immediately thought of Matthew Perry and Whitney Houston. They had the same cause of death, so we know where that came from. But in this case, it seems like there's no foul play, no drugs, no illicit behavior, nothing, no smoking that you can really point to other than a powerful current in the ocean while you were swimming with your family on vacation, which is like maybe the most tragic circumstances of all. Everything was good, you're hanging out with your family, you're on vacation, you're making memories, and next thing you know, a rip current rips you away, and that's all she wrote. I honestly don't know what's worse. Something that's regrettable and reckless leaves you wondering why and how did we miss this and could this have been avoided. Something like this, though, is just like 1 minute you're good and the next minute you're gone. With your family there, and I'm sure they were trying to save you, and oh my God, that is absolutely gut-wrenching. Just one of those examples of how Mother Nature can be an absolute deadly force. So once again, rest in peace to Malcolm-Jamal Warner, gone at the age of 54, simply from a rip current while swimming with his family. Oh.
MoNique and Katt Williams break silence after Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing. Right from the moment news broke, the internet was shaken and confused. How does a beloved TV icon like Malcolm-Jamal Warner, seemingly healthy and enjoying a vacation, suddenly drown? And more importantly, how does that happen while swimming with his daughter? At first glance, it sounds like a tragic accident. The official story: Malcolm was swimming off the coast of Costa Rica with his 8-year-old daughter when a powerful rip current pulled him under. His daughter barely survived, rescued by a passing surfer, while Malcolm was pulled ashore by a volunteer lifeguard. CPR was administered, but it was too late. The forensic report stated asphyxiation by submersion. In other words, accidental drowning. No foul play, no drugs, no visible signs of trauma. Just the ocean claiming another victim. But people weren't satisfied with that explanation. Not even close. Within hours, theories began surfacing. And those theories gained traction fast, especially once two familiar voices stepped in with some eyebrow-raising claims: comedian Katt Williams and actress MoNique. Two entertainers who've made it their mission to pull back the curtain on Hollywood's ugliest secrets. And this time, they claim Malcolm's death might not be as innocent as it seems. They believe he was silenced. And they're not alone. Let's rewind to just days before Malcolm's untimely passing. He had done an interview that didn't make headlines at the time, but now feels eerily relevant. In it, Malcolm talked about rejecting major roles from high-profile producers because the roles, in his words, would have compromised his soul. He said he'd rather walk away from a multi-million-dollar opportunity than portray something that disrespected his community or perpetuated harmful stereotypes. He explained that his mother had raised him to think long-term about dignity, legacy, and integrity. And for years, that's exactly how he operated in the industry, picking quality roles, turning down projects that didn't align with his values. But according to Katt and MoNique, that came at a price. According to them, a certain powerful figure in Hollywood, one they've both publicly clashed with, allegedly tried to get Malcolm to take part in questionable behind-the-scenes activities. When Malcolm refused, they claim the tension quietly escalated. He didn't want any part in it. And just as he was allegedly preparing to speak out, his life was cut short, conveniently, in a foreign country. Coincidence? Or something darker? The whispers turned into full-blown suspicion when this same powerful figure organized a private memorial for Malcolm at his studio, inviting cast members from their shared show read between the lines. At face value, it looked like a heartfelt tribute, but to those familiar with the industry's dirty dealings, it felt more like damage control. The timeline is suspicious. Shortly after Malcolm's death, a lawsuit hit the news, filed by actor Dixon against the very same Hollywood figure. In that lawsuit, Derek accuses this person of inappropriate advances, harassment, and later blackballing him from the industry when he refused to play along. The lawsuit is massive, over $250 million, and includes screenshots, messages, and graphic allegations. One particularly disturbing claim? That this industry mogul cornered Derek, yanked down his clothing, and tried to coerce him, allegedly saying, "Just relax. It won't hurt." Derek managed to deflect, but the experience shook him, and he claims it wasn't an isolated incident. If this were just one person's story, maybe you could dismiss it, but he's not alone. Actor Christian Keys also hinted at being targeted. While he didn't name names, his words were chilling. He claimed to have secret recordings of offers for explicit favors, hush money, and even confessions from others who were allegedly on this person's payroll. According to Christian, it wasn't just about women facing abuse, it was also young black men. He described being afraid to say no, worried that rejecting this powerful figure would jeopardize his career. So he began documenting everything, just in case he needed proof. And guess what? Just days after Derek's lawsuit went public, Christian made a bold move. He pulled his show from BET, citing internal sabotage and disrespect. He didn't explicitly say who was behind it, but fans connected the dots. Many believe it was retaliation for not playing along. It doesn't stop there. MoNique's story adds another layer of credibility to the pattern. Years ago, she starred in the Oscar-winning film Precious, a role that earned her critical acclaim but reportedly destroyed her career. Why? Because she refused to promote the movie for free. According to MoNique, she had fulfilled her contract, but the studio expected her to do press tours without additional pay. When she declined, suddenly she was blacklisted. She claims this same Hollywood powerhouse called her directly and warned her to play the game or pay the price. She refused, and just like that, the offers dried up. She's been vocal ever since, calling him out for using his influence to silence people who don't obey. And then there's Katt Williams. Never one to bite his tongue, Katt has accused this mogul of deliberately casting strong black men in feminized roles to weaken their public image. He once said, "He can't play a man to save his life, but he plays women perfectly." Katt believes there's a reason behind that, and that it's tied to deeper motives about how black masculinity is portrayed on screen. One particular story that backs this up comes from actor Brandon J. He was cast in a role on Meet the Browns as a nerdy high schooler. But on filming day, everything changed. The script was rewritten. Suddenly, his character was now gay and crushing on his bully. Brandon didn't audition for that and wasn't comfortable. But he was told by the director that if he didn't comply, he'd be fired. So he went along with it, feeling violated and confused. Brandon later revealed the process left him emotionally drained. He said the script was changed on the fly, lines were fed to him during filming, and that he was forced into a role that wasn't just unexpected, but deeply personal. All of this makes you wonder, what kind of environment are these actors working in? Which brings us back to Malcolm. People online have started connecting these dots. Was he another victim of refusing to play the game? Some now believe he may have been silenced before he could blow the whistle. While that may sound extreme, many point to the unusual circumstances of his death. One popular theory? A neurological agent was slipped into his drink, something that paralyzes muscles, making it impossible to swim. A few users online claim a bottle he was seen drinking from is now missing. Others have said the story about the rip current has changed too many times to be trusted. One user commented, "Something feels off." The official story doesn't sit right. Too many weird details and shady connections. Another wrote, "He dies just after refusing a project and dropping clues in interviews? Nah, I don't believe it was just an accident." Even the idea of an autopsy has come into question. If this happened in a foreign country, how thorough was the investigation? Were all possible causes explored, or was it wrapped up too neatly? While no one has definitive proof tying Malcolm's death to foul play, the timing and connections are hard to ignore. Add to that the long list of people, Derek, Christian, MoNique, Brandon, Katt, who've shared similar stories of manipulation, coercion, and cover-ups, and it paints a deeply unsettling picture. So what do you think? Was Malcolm-Jamal Warner the victim of a tragic accident? Or was there something more sinister at play? Did his refusal to conform cost him more than just his career? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story shook you, just wait until you see what we uncovered next. Click here to dive into another explosive expose you won't believe.